cycle. You have to be coachable. That's another hard thing that's hard, especially for men. Especially for men with egos. You can't tell them nothing. They're the first people that aren't coachable, and then when things don't go their way, they're the first ones to blast you and your business publicly in an attempt to make themselves look better. I don't have time to tell the story, but you guys may have heard of it before when I first joined my first company at ACN. And my upline told me exactly what to do, and I didn't follow them. I'll give you the brief rough down. They said you need to have a grand opening, or back then we called it PBR, private business reception. You need to make a list of everybody that you know, call us up, and we will call them on three-way. And I was like, have you lost your mind? My people don't know you. I'm not putting them on the phone with you. They know me. I'm going to tell them what it's about. By the way, I had a party at my house last week. I invited 40 people and 100 showed up. So these are college kids. If I tell them that we're having a business meeting, all these kids are about to graduate, of course they're going to be here. I had a couple of Spelman girls running around, not just the AUC, but all over the city, putting flyers all over the place. This was the first and last time I ever did flyers. Not saying that it doesn't work, but I'm just telling you my own experience. Greenbrier Mall, Flips Plaza, Lenox, the Underground, everywhere. We have flyers all over the place. Morris Brown, Atlanta University, Spelman, Morehouse, even Georgia Tech. And on the day of my private business reception, they told me, you know, just get chips and water. Oh, I had a buffet delivered. I had chairs delivered. 4 people showed up. 4 people. Me, my roommate, my sponsor, and the person who was giving the presentation. 4 people showed up. And you know the first thing that popped in my head? This thing doesn't work. This business doesn't work. No, I didn't think that I didn't follow the instructions, that I failed. I said that the business failed. And I was like, I might as well quit right now. That was the first thought. But then my ego kicked in. I never really failed at anything in life at that point. I knew that if I worked hard at something, I would always succeed. And here I was willing to quit. How could I live with myself? I could never look back and admit, hey, I quit. So I didn't make it happen. My ego didn't. So I said, you know what? Let me listen to what these guys are saying. I followed what they said, and I got promoted to the first position within the next week. I learned my lesson. Coachable. And be excited about what you do. If you're not excited about what you do, how can you expect somebody else to be excited as well? It's not possible. It's not going to happen. Think of movie trailers. That movie trailer for Pacific Rim, right? My 14-year-old, he saw that. His eyes were bugged out about it. He was excited. It was exciting. It was thrilling looking. He had to see it. But what if they came out with a trailer that didn't show any robots? They were bored. It was a boring trailer. No exciting music behind it. No thrill behind it. He wouldn't have said he wanted to see it. He doesn't know what the movie is. It's just a preview. You are a walking preview of your business. You're a preview of your business. And if you're not giving off an excited vibe about it, nobody's going to want to pay the admission to see the rest. Are you excited about what you're doing? Oh wow, since I saw that news in Texas, it's kind of hard showing this slide. But not just business, but life is an emotional roller coaster. Don't make your highs too high and your lows too low. Always understand that some will, some won't, some wait. So what next? What does this mean? Well, when you're in business, you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. Good days and bad days. You want to keep yourself on a even emotional keel. When great things happen, don't get too excited about it. For example, You join the business. 1 week later, you sign up somebody who says they're gonna make you rich. They put 200 people in the business the very next week. You're already thinking about walking off your job. You're already thinking about how much money you're gonna make and all the things you're gonna buy. And then a week later, somebody says, I woke up and 200 people walk off. They leave and they take all their people with them. What happened to that dream and fantasy of walking off your job? What happened to that dream of buying all the things you wanted to? Now you went from a super high to almost depression level, right? And then you start doubting yourself. You start doubting the business. It gets too hard. You don't want to feel like that again. So to save ourselves, we take ourselves out of the situation so that we can never feel that way again. It's a self-defense mechanism. You may not even realize that you do it, but your brain is thinking that. Don't get too excited and don't get upset when something happens. I guarantee every single one of you, sometime in your career, you will lose the best person on your team. Right? I guarantee it. But here's something that I want you to know. The most important person that you will ever recruit is you. The most reliable hand is the one at the end of your own wrist. I promise you that. And if somebody quits, so what? Next? Who's next? Let's talk about the character quadrant, or I don't know why I never changed this slide. Personality traits. See, when you're out there building your business, and this doesn't have to deal with business, this deals with life. When you're dealing with people, most people fall into 4 major personality traits. It doesn't mean that they don't have a mixture of all of them. But every single person has a dominant trait. The first is a shark. A shark is driven by money, power, and respect. A shark likes to know when they walk into a room, they want everybody to know they just walked into the room. They're the ones with the power suits on. They're the ones that love the money. They're the ones that love to be on stage. They love to be seen and heard. They've got the killer instinct. They can smell blood or money in the water. That's what motivates them. If you are a shark or you know a shark, type that name in the chat box. Sharks. Then you have the whales. Who are the whales? Nobody knows a shark? Nobody's typed anything in the chat box. Then you have the whales. Whales are people who care about other people. They're motivated by helping others. Whales, you just look at their profession. Nurses, doctors, community activists, ministers, deacons, non-profit organizations. They're not motivated by money. They're motivated by being helpful to other people. That's what matters most. If you are a whale or you know a whale, type that name in the chat box for whales. What's the difference between a whale and a shark? Let's say you approach the whale and you tell them, hey, you got to join my business. Did you know you can make $600 in your first 30 days? Did you know that, just 12 people is going to pay you $2,400? Did you know that? A whale's going to look at you like you lost your mind. They're not going to want to have nothing to do with you. That doesn't get them excited. If you go to a shark and you tell the shark, hey, you got to join this business. We're helping people save money on services they're already using. We're changing people's lives. We're walking people off their job. So? You gonna walk me off my job? Sharks aren't motivated by that. Then you've got a dolphin. Dolphins love to have fun. This was my sister. When I joined ACN back in the day, my sister was, I think, 17 years old. And I came back from college and I was on my way to a live meeting. And she saw me getting dressed, putting on a suit. And she's like, well, where are you going? I'm going to a business meeting. And she was bored. Can I come? Sure. Get dressed. Come on. So we go on down to, oh, I can't remember the name of that hotel. Anyways, it's on Century Boulevard down here in LA. Right across the street from the airport. And we walk into the room. My sister's eyes bugged out. Music was playing. She's very sensitive to like vibration and stuff. She can tell a negative vibe and a bad vibe from people and a positive real quick. She's very sensitive to that energy stuff. And she felt it the moment she walked in the room. All these people smiling, hugging each other, patting each other on the backs. They have suits on, they're suited and booted, talking about making money and traveling, talking about the next convention was in Atlanta, Georgia, and she couldn't wait to get her little butt in Atlanta, Georgia, hearing all the stories that I was talking about being in Atlanta. She couldn't wait to get there. At the end of the presentation, she said, where do I sign up? She didn't even know the name of the company and didn't care. All she wanted to do, it was about having fun. She couldn't wait till the next convention. Her and her girlfriends could go showing out, go shopping for new outfits. Couldn't wait to go to different clubs in different cities. Couldn't wait to meet new men in different cities. She didn't care about making money. She didn't care about helping other people. She just wanted to have fun. Now, the older you get, you know, you can't live life that way because you got to pay your bills. But you still have a dominant trait. If you're not having fun, I don't care how much money you're making, you're out the door. Then you have the urchins. Whew, I can't stand the urchins. The urchins are the bane of my existence. The urchins take up 90% of my day. Urchins want to know all of the facts. They won't move a muscle until they know what's going on. What's the background of the company? When did the company get started? Is the company BBB approved? I want to see the business plan of the company. What's the social security number of the owner? What is the exact megawatts of the electricity usage? What's the name of the person in customer service? I mean, 9 times out of 10 is irrelevant questions that you need to know for you to be successful in the business. But an urchin operates a certain way. They think a certain way. How do you expect me to talk to other people about this business if I don't even know about it? I don't want to look foolish. I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not going to pay money on something I don't know what's taking place. And there's nothing wrong with that. They just take forever to make a decision. They've got to do 1,000,001 extra research after you give them all the information. A lot of urchins ask questions just to ask a question. Just because they want to know if you know the answer to their question. So that they feel better after they make a decision. They know at least they got to ask all the questions so they don't feel like they got robbed. But let me tell you what happens to an urchin. Urchins end up making the most money. Urchins end up making more money than everybody because an urchin turns into a shark. Because now they know all the facts. They did their research. They're 100% convinced and committed to what they're doing. So if some joker comes to them about a new company, they're going to laugh at them and says, I think you need to take a look at this one. They're not going to jump ship. They're more committed and they last long term. Urchins make the most money. If you know anyone that's a dolphin or an urchin, type your name in the chat box. I see people say that I'm a shark. I've seen a lot of people say that I'm actually a whale. I had a company offer me $150,000 to join their company. And the only reason why I said no was because I knew that the people that I brought on board weren't going to make any money. $150,000 would have been great for me, but it would have been bad for my team. I will do for others before I do for myself. I have a part of every personality trait. I know how to talk as an urchin. I know how to talk as a dolphin. I know how to talk as a whale. I know how to talk as a shark. You may be dominant in one, but you want to have all of them. You want to know why? Because when you're having a conversation with something, all you have to do is ask them a couple of questions. It only takes me 30 seconds to figure out what dominant personality trait a person is. Now I know how to talk to them about my business. I know how to approach them without them being offended. I know how to get them to ask me, what is it that I do? People like to buy, they don't like to be sold. Feel, felt, found approach. Those of you who I've taught you how to brand yourself making videos, what do I always say? Make a video about who you are. Make another video about why you're doing what you're doing and what company. And the next video is make a video of you actually doing a presentation. That is actually the feel, felt, found. I'll do that on the next training, get into more detail about that. Positives up, negatives down. That means if you have an organization and you're feeling bad, don't go to your downline talking negative about your experience or the company. You always take it to your upline. Vent up, not down. Bring positives to your downline. However, there's another meaning to this. If you think negatively all the time, guess what you're going to attract to you? Negativity. Right? If you think positive all the time, what are you going to attract to you? Positivity. I'm going to give you an example. And a lot of people like it when I do this. Here's an example. We all know a woman. We all know a woman who has always been in a bad relationship. Pay close attention to what I say here and don't get offended about what I'm about to say. And no matter what boyfriend she's had, she seems to always have the same guy. It's just with a different name. Same type of personality. And finally a friend may say, you know, have you ever thought that it might be you? Maybe you need to go to counseling. So she goes to see a counselor and asks the counselor, yeah, I'm always in bad relationships. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I keep attracting all these bad men. She knows, she said that word, attracting. We all know this. We just don't think deeply on this. The power of that word, attraction. So the counselor asks a question. And the counselor says, well, let me ask you. What is it that you want in a man? Do you hear the words there? What is it that you want in a man? And she says, well, I want a man who doesn't treat me bad, who doesn't disrespect me, who doesn't stay out all night, go drinking with the boys and end up cheating on me, and then says he doesn't remember. Who doesn't do drugs. I want a man who doesn't verbally and physically abuse me. I want a man who doesn't disrespect me in front of my children. I want a man who doesn't make me feel like the S word. Now, when you look back on what she just said, she's absolutely correct. Who in their right man wants a man like that, right? It sounds good. She probably has that same conversation with her girlfriends every single night. But the universe doesn't work that way. It doesn't work in negatives. She didn't answer the question. The question was not what you don't want in a man. The question is, what do you want in a man? If she flips her thinking and says, you know what? I want a man who treats me good. I want a man who respects me. I want a man who comes home and enjoys spending time with me and not hanging out with the guys like that. I want a man who treats me good in front of my kids. I want a man who loves me. I want a man who makes me feel special. I want a man who I feel safe with. Do you see the difference? There's a huge difference in the two things. She's walking around thinking in the negative. instead of walking around thinking in the positive. This works for your business the same way. And the moment she flips that thinking, all of a sudden she's going to start to attract a different kind of man. Because the man that she would like to have, she's blocking. That good guy, she has no room for, because that's not what she's projecting. That's not what she's thinking about. How are you currently thinking about your business right now? Are you thinking about what you don't have? Are you thinking about how much it costs? Are you thinking about the people on your team who's not doing anything? Or are you doing the opposite? Again, focus on the goal and not the task. You must see yourself as a RVP or the top position of whatever company you're in. See yourself as the top. Perception becomes reality. At the very beginning of this training, I said that when the mind is right, facts don't matter. See, a lot of people out there are doing what's called fake it until you make it. I don't believe in faking it until you make it. I do believe in acting as if. I am a regional vice president and the top producer of my company, and I've always been the top producer of every company I've been in over the last couple of years. Did I start thinking this way after I became an RVP? No, I thought this way the day I signed up in the business. I acted like I owned the freaking company. Act as if. I was just waiting for the title to come on to verify it. But in my mind, I was already there, and I acted like it, and people could feel that off of you. If you act that way, act like a millionaire. Don't act like you're broke. You may not have money in the bank account, but what does that have to do with how you act? You will start to attract the right people. Here's another assignment for you. Go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, and ask yourself this question. Would I sign up with you? And be honest with yourself. If you lie to yourself, you are really in trouble. There's nobody in that bathroom but you and yourself. Would you sign up with you? And if the answer is no, it's okay. Now you know your starting point. The next thing you do is find out why. Why would you not sign up with you? What traits do you need to have for you to be attractive enough for you to sign up with yourself? Now you know what to work on. The answer was no when I asked myself that question. Why is it important? Because if you're out there looking for the superstar, guess what? Superstars don't hang out with losers. Successful people don't hang out with failures. Wealthy people don't hang out with broken, poor people. You know what Henry Ford said? One of the richest men in the world ever. If I lost all my money, the first thing that I would do is go hang out with wealthy people and let that energy vibe and rub off on me. Birds of a feather flock together. Now you know what to work on. Do not be in the pursuit of success. Be in the pursuit of being attractive. Because if you are attractive, you will attract other attractive people. If you are a superstar, you will sign up other superstars. It's not luck. It's not habit. And if the odd chance that you're not a superstar and you do sign up one, it will not last. The universe will make sure of that. Think of people who won the lottery. 70 to 80% of them go broke after 10 years. You want to know why? They never learned the skills necessary to become a millionaire. And once that money was dropped on them, they definitely didn't have the skills necessary to keep it. And most of them will tell you, they wish they never won the lottery. What? What do you mean you wish you never won the lottery? Because they find out something about money. Money is not the be-all and end-all of life. Money is just energy. Money is just a resource. It is a resource that allows you to do things. The more money you have, the more you can do. And people who have a bad mindset and a broke mindset, when all of a sudden they have money, it just brings out the bad habits and human nature that they have that made them broke, and it just highlights it. Because now they don't have a job. Now they don't have a, they can focus on their inequalities, their inequities. And they end up worse off in life than they were before. Why is it that sports athletes go broke 3 to 5 years after they walk away from the game? And you can name player after player after player after player. Who's the latest one that was in the news besides Antoine Walker? How about Allen Iverson? A man who made $170 million in his career, and they said he's broke. The only thing that is saving him is that when he came in the league, they made him in a contract put a certain percentage aside that he can't touch till he's 55. So when he turns 55, he still has $30 million. But you have a guy that walked around talking about, I don't like packing my clothes. I'm going to buy a new outfit on every road trip. Didn't manage his money very well. He didn't have the right mindset. Thought the money was going to keep coming forever. When you have the right mindset, you can create money out of thin air. You can make money when there's nothing there to make it with, because your mind is right. Perception becomes reality. How do you currently perceive yourself right now? And what are you doing about it? I will tell you my aha moment. I have a little bit of time on this. My aha moment came a couple of years ago, listening to some training. I listened to Your Wish is Your Command by Kevin Trudeau, and I read a book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Those two things combined gave me my aha moment. Success is not in doing certain things, it's doing things in a certain way. Two individuals can have the same exact experience. One walk away broke and another walk away rich. Why? Because one did things in a certain way or responded to things in a certain way. See, all of us go through life looking at life through a magnifying glass. And in this magnifying glass is your reality. But that's not the entire universe. You're just looking at it through a magnifying glass, your little piece of the world. But everything is connected. Everything. You, your neighbor, somebody across the globe, what somebody does in a different state that you don't even know has an impact on your life. 6 degrees of separation. People may pray that they want a better job, right? And they're praying and praying for a better job, and then they get laid off from their job, and the average person gets upset. Lord, I prayed for a better job, and I got laid off. Now I'm in a worse situation. There's two ways to look at this. One, yeah, you can look at it as you're in a worse situation, or number two, wow, getting laid off was just a precursor of a better opportunity coming my way, that if I had that job, I wouldn't have been able to be a part of that opportunity. If I didn't get laid off, I wouldn't have become a millionaire. I wouldn't have had the motivation to go out there and do more than what I was currently doing. Not everything that happens to you is a negative. It's just an event. How you respond to that event makes all the difference. There's a reason why wealthy people make a lot of money in a good economy and then make even more money in a bad economy. Because when everybody's panicking, everybody's losing their mind, everybody is thinking negative in a bad economy, the wealthy are swooping in and stealing your piece of the pie. Because they respond to it differently than you do. They understand the laws of the universe. That one action means that there's another action that can follow it up. They may not know what it is. See, I was going through life through my magnifying glass based on what my own experiences are. For example, I wanted to make $10,000 by the end of the year. But looking at my current life, looking at my magnifying glass, there was no way possible that was going to happen. I was working a job at the time. How was that going to happen? I'm not going to make an extra $10,000 on our job. They just cut our Christmas bonus and said nobody's getting a raise and that we're just lucky to have a job in the first place. The team that I had in my home-based business wasn't doing anything. In fact, some of them were quitting. There's no way I'm going to make this $10,000 because I'm looking through my own life in my own magnifying glass. It's like looking at an anthill with a magnifying glass. You may only be able to see 20 to 30 ants, but there's hundreds, if not thousands of ants in that colony, all working for the benefits that's going to affect all the rest of the ants. But you don't see what's going on outside your magnifying glass. This is when the Bible talks about having vision without sight. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean things aren't taking place. It just may not be the way you want it, and you have to let go. You have to put those things in God's hand. Not worry about that. Focus on the goal and not the task. And that was hard for me to give that up. And I decided to focus on the goal. What was my goal? $10,000 a month. I didn't care about how it was going to happen. All I knew was that I need to have $10,000. When Donald Trump makes a decision, do you think about he thinks about the how? No, I'm going to build a casino. I made the decision. Now let's go and worry about how it's going to happen. I already made the decision. It's already a done deal. Now one way or another it's going to happen. That's how wealthy people think. They don't think about the how before they make a decision. Broke people think about how they're going to do it before they make a decision. Is it going to be easy? Am I going to run through obstacles? Will people turn me down? If they're going to turn me down, I'm not going to do it. That's what most broke people look at. Can I afford $99 next month? I don't know. Instead of thinking about, man, I can make $5,000 this month, so $90 is not an issue. Is the glass half full or half empty? So I gave it up. I gave away the control and just focused on the how. Now, here's something that's even more important than that. To make this work, it's like you can have a car, but if you don't have the battery, it's not going to go anywhere. Here's the battery to fuel your engine. How do you feel knowing that your goal has been accomplished? When I was a kid and I used to get sick, my mom would say, pray to God and pray and give thanksgiving, be thankful for Him healing you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not healed yet. No, you have to be thankful because He's going to heal you. So be thankful that He healed you. And go to sleep thinking about how thankful you are that the Lord healed you, made you better. Now I'm a kid. I'm like, that's backwards. That's ass backwards. What do you mean be thankful? How about this? He heals me and then I'll be thankful because He healed me. Don't we got to have proof first, right? We got to see it first. Show me your bank account. Show me your back office before I sign up. Well, how much money are you making? Don't worry about how much money I'm making. How much money can you make? My work ethic is not yours. That's how most people think. They got to see proof first before they can believe that it's possible. You ever want to know if somebody has a broke mindset? You know by their actions when they ask these questions. How much does it cost? How much do I have to pay every single month? Are you making any money? Is anybody else making any money? That's a broke mindset. They always want to be a follower. Do you think Bill Gates waited for somebody to do something first? Do you think Steve Jobs waited for someone to do something first? Do you think that Walt Disney waited for Magic Mountain to open up before he decided, maybe I can make a theme park? One reporter said when Walt Disney died, because he died before Disneyland opened up, and he told his son, isn't it a shame that Walt died before this park is here? He didn't get a chance to see it. And his son said, no, you're wrong. It's because he saw this is why the park is here in the first place. He saw it before it happened. What did Jim Rohn say all the time before? Before you start your day, already have it planned out. Before you start your week, already see how the week is going to end. And this is something I struggle with. I got to work on. Plan out my week beforehand. Have it done before I even lifted a finger. It's all in the mind. And I let go, and next thing you know, I had the $10,000. And it happened in ways I had no idea, I couldn't even see coming. When I joined this current company, I joined in April, but when I made my New Year's resolution in January, I had no idea I was going to be in this company that was going to walk me off my job in 7 months. I had no idea. All I knew is that I was walking off my job in 2012. That's all I knew. I didn't know how, and I didn't care, but I thought about how does it make me feel. It felt freaking awesome, even though it didn't happen. If you go back and look at my 1-year anniversary video, I made a 6-month anniversary video where I sat at this park. When I was on my job, during my break time, I would walk down a couple of blocks to this park. And I was always listening. I had headphones on, and people thought I was always listening to music. And I wasn't listening to music. I was listening to Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Kevin Trudeau, Les Brown, motivational stuff. And I would dream. I would sit on that bench, and I would pretend like I'm a millionaire. And I would think about how it felt to be a millionaire. And I would try to capture and hold that feeling as hard as possible, as long as possible. Because your brain only knows what you feel. Your brain doesn't understand logic. It doesn't care about the facts. The facts are whatever you make it to be. Two people can get rejected by the same woman. One man goes home rejected. Another man thinks of another way to approach that woman so he wasn't get rejected again. The same event happened, but both of them decided a different way on how they're going to respond to that event. And the other man ends up marrying the woman. Because he didn't give up. He was persistent. And I would sit on that park bench. And then when the 30 minutes or an hour was up, I would open my eyes and walk right back to my job. And I told myself one day, I'm going to walk back to my car or wherever and go wherever I want to go. And the day came, I walked off my job. And 6 months later, I went back to that same park and shot a video. And said, I'm here because 6 months ago when I was on a job, I imagined myself being here. I wasn't thinking about my job. I was thinking about being free. And it was a reality. A week and a half ago, I went back to that same park and I shot a video. Go look it up on YouTube, my 1-year anniversary. I didn't feel good after it happened, knowing that now I get off this park bench, I can go wherever I want and then start to feel it. I felt it before it happened, and that's why it came true. I'm giving you a multi-million-dollar lesson here that most motivational speakers don't speak about, and they don't speak about it on purpose. It's the whole reason behind it. They will only tell you some of the truth, not all of it. They will tell you to think about your goals, but they won't tell you to imagine how does it feel, because that's the source. Like, remember the movie The Secret? Rhonda Byrne? Just think about what you want. There's a key missing ingredient in that. How does it feel to have it? She left that out. Oh, she knows it, but she left it out. He had millions of people who sat around all day thinking about what they wanted and it didn't happen. They said, this is bogus. This doesn't work. Thinking about something. When Napoleon Hill released Think and Grow Rich, it's a watered down version of the real thing. Because the true version, when it hit the shelves, Henry Ford and all the rest had a heart attack. Here he is telling all the secrets. And there's 2 words in that book that he had that got them upset. Vibration, right? The word vibration and law of attraction. And the feelings. So Napoleon Hill went to 2 or 3 versions before it went back on the shelves. So the most popular book out there on that right now is a watered down version of the truth. It is like you're watching a preview of the real movie. By watching the preview, are you seeing the whole movie? No, you're just getting glimpses of it. That's what a lot of motivational speakers today do. They're just giving you glimpses of it. You have to do your own research at this point. Even the training that I'm giving you, I'm just giving you a glimpse of the other side. You have to go out and do your own studying to get the rest. I'm just opening the door so that you can peek through it, to know that there's another side, that the 3% understand. It was a long time before my mentors even taught me this stuff, because they said I wouldn't understand it at the time. I had to go through certain steps first before they started teaching me this stuff. But the light bulb went off, and I just let it go. I know right now, without a shadow of a doubt, I will be a multimillionaire because I know what it feels like to be so. How about you? What is your perception? And what is your reality? 2 people in my company at the same position. Both go through the same exact thing. One person quits and makes a video talking about how broke the company is and doesn't work and this and that. The other one stays here and makes another 20 grand. What's the difference? Perception is reality. That's right, Nelly. It's all about mindset. What is your mindset? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking around as long as you have. As I told you, there was no time limit on tonight. Those of you on the East Coast, it's coming up to midnight. And I'll be respectful of your time tonight. I got out everything that I didn't know what I was going to say tonight. But I can feel that I already said everything that I'm supposed to. So I'm not going to prolong it any longer. I will let you know that I did record this. And I'll have it up on recording. It's probably going to have to be in 2 parts. YouTube, I haven't tested. I think they only allow me to upload maybe an hour and 10 or 15 minutes worth. So I'll split this up in 2 parts. But here's the next step. What is the next half of 2013 going to look like for you? What is your reality over the next 6 months? Will you have the greatest Christmas that you've ever had in life? And that all depends on what you do right now. And with over 6,000 people on my team, we can only have about 50 people on this training. You just set yourselves apart from everybody else. Because if everybody that's on my team says they want to make the type of money that I make, yet they're not willing to learn the same information that I know, what does that tell you? Now you understand why there's only 97% of the people that are broke and only 3% that have the money. Like Phil Jackson said during the Chicago Bulls heyday, the other team knows that at the end of the day, Michael Jordan is getting the ball. They know we're going to run the triangle offense and that Michael Jordan's getting the ball. And it doesn't matter if they know the playbook. We know how to execute and we will still win 6 championships. I mean, think about that, guys. After the first championship, maybe you can get away with that. But fool me twice, maybe he's just too good. But a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a 6th time, you know exactly what's going to happen, and the entire league still can't stop it. It's because he knows how to execute. Are you executing in your business? Or are you a poser? You want something, but you're not willing to do the work that it takes to get it. You want financial freedom, but you're too busy on a Saturday night to hear information that's actually going to put fuel in your tank. This information is far more important than actually sitting and watching a presentation on a company. Now I also understand. In fact, 6 months ago I did a mindset training and I put it up on Facebook, and one of my old mentors came on. He's a 7-figure earner, makes like $300,000–400,000 a month in just one of his businesses, and he hopped on. He contacted me after. You know what he said to me? This is a millionaire. He said, "Brandon, why are you telling those people that information?" I said, "What?" He said, "Why are you sharing that information with them? 97% of them is going to go in one ear and out the other, and those are the ones who had enough sense even to get on the presentation. They're not going to get it." And I said, "You know, I see what you're saying, because you didn't give me that information up front, but here's what I like to say. Nobody at the end of the day can say that I at least didn't give them the information. I don't want to be known as those guys that know a whole lot of stuff but don't want to share it with anybody. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink it." And he said, "Okay, but personally you're just wasting your time, and that can be time spent building another company." That's what he said to me. He said, "You spent 2 hours, you could have been doing something else." But the whale in me comes out. Now, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to implement this information? So thank you guys for joining us. My name is Brandon Ivey, Regional Vice President of Vitel, owner of Niche Marketing and Advertising. 6 months left in this 6 months left in this year, 2013. If you haven't achieved the goals that you set aside at the beginning of this year, you still have time. The next mindset training, I don't know, another month from now. We'll see. But thank you guys for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your night. And remember the assignment that I gave you before you go to sleep tonight. What would you do with your life if you had everything that you wanted? How does it make you feel? And see a difference when you wake up tomorrow morning. I'm going to do the same thing tonight. And of course, I'm going to end with my favorite video. Let me pull it up here. My favorite video of the month. Next month, it'll be a new video. Have a good night. Those of you on my team, tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a very important team call. Very important. I'm up. I'm the one doing it. So tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, make sure all of your team is on this call. For those of you who want to get to, I don't know, you can make an extra $100,000 by the end of the month. I mean, by the end of the year. An extra 40 grand. How would that impact your life? How about an extra $30,000 by the end of the year? We're going to talk about that. So God bless. Good night. Here's the video. Bye-bye.
So you want to get a degree. Why? Let me tell you what society will tell you. It increases your chances of getting a job, provides you with an opportunity to be successful. Your life will be a lot less stressful. Education is the key. Now let me tell you what your parents will tell you. Make me proud. It increases your chances of getting a job, provides you with an opportunity to be successful. Your life will be a lot less stressful. Education is the key. Now let's look at the statistics. Steve Jobs, net worth, 7 billion, RIP. Richard Branson, net worth, 4.2 billion. Oprah Winfrey, net worth, 2.7 billion. Mark Zuckerberg, Henry Ford, Steven Spielberg, Bill Gates. Now here comes the coup de grace. Looking at these individuals, what's your conclusion? Neither of them, in being successful, ever graduated from a higher learning institution. Now some of you will protest like, you know, money is only the medium by which one measures worldly success. And some of you even have the nerve to say, I don't do it for the money. So what are you studying for? To work for a charity? Need more clarity? Let's look at the statistics. Jesus, Muhammad, peace be upon him, Socrates, Malcolm X, Mother Teresa, Spielberg, Shakespeare, Beethoven, Jesse Owens, Muhammad Ali, Sean Carter, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Michael Joseph Jackson, were either of these people unsuccessful or uneducated. All I'm saying is that if there was a family tree, hard work and education would be related, but school would probably be a distant cousin. Because if education is the key, then school is the lock. Because it rarely ever develops your mind to the point where it can perceive red as green and continue to go when someone else said stop. Because as long as you follow the rules and pass the exams, you're cool. But are you aware that examiners have a checklist? And if your answer is something outside of the box, the automatic response is a cross. And then they claim that school expands your horizons and your visions. Well, tell that to Malcolm X, who dropped out of school and is well renowned for what he learned in a prison. Proverbs 17:16. It does a fool no good to spend money on education. Why? Because he has no common sense. George Bush. Need I say more? Education is about inspiring one's mind, not just filling their head. And take this from me, because I'm an educated man myself, who only came to this realization after countless nights in the library, with a can of Red Bull keeping me awake till dawn and another can in the morn, falling asleep in between piles of books which probably equated to the same amount I had spent on my rent, memorize equation, facts and dates right down to the letter, half of which I'd never remember and half of which I'd forget straight after the exam and before the start of the next semester, asking anyone if they had notes for the last lecture. I often found myself running to class just so I could find a spot on which I could rest my head and fall asleep without making a scene. Ironic, because that's the only time I ever spent in university chasing my dreams. And then after nights with a dead mind, I then find myself in a queue of half-awake student zombies waiting to hand in an assignment. Maybe that's why they called it a deadline. And then after 3 years of mental suppression and frustration, my proud mother didn't even turn up to my graduation. Now, I'm not saying that school is evil and there's nothing to gain, but all I'm saying is understand your motives and reassess your aims. Because if you want a job working for someone else, then help yourself. But then that would be a contradiction, because you wouldn't really be helping yourself, you'd be helping somebody else. There's a saying which says, if you don't build your dream, someone else will hire you to help build theirs. Redefine how you view education. Understand its true meaning. Education is not just about regurgitating facts from a book or someone else's opinion on a subject to pass an exam. Look at it. Picasso was educated in creating art. Shakespeare was educated in the art of all that was written. Colonel Harlan Sanders was educated in the art of creating Kentucky Fried Chicken. I once saw David Beckham take a free kick. I watched as the side of his Adidas sponsored boot hit the patent leather of the ball at an angle which caused it to travel towards the skies as though it was destined for the heavens. And then as it reached the peak of its momentum, as though it changed its mind, it switched directions. I watched as the goalkeeper froze, as though recited to himself the laws of physics, and as though his brain was negotiating with his eyes that it was indeed witnessing the spectacle of the leather swan that was swooping towards it, and then reacting. But only a fraction of a millisecond too late. And before the net of the goal embraced the FIFA-sponsored ball as though it was the prodigal son returning home, in the country that I live in erupted into cheers, I looked at the play and thought, damn, looking at David Beckham, there's more than one way in this world to be an educated man.